So new information has come to light concerning the digital IDs. I have an image here that I want you to look at, and I'm going to show you closely in a minute, and we're going to see what's on there. But the digital ID is the centerpiece of everything else. So the digital ID will be the body to the legs of the spider, right? Everything's going to be connected to your digital ID, or should I say the digital ID is going to be connected to every aspect of your life. It's going to be financial, education, communication, social media, absolutely everything. Healthcare, your banking system, the financial side of it is a big one because that's Revelation 13. You will not be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. So have a look at this picture that I've just seen on the News Australia. And yeah, you'll see what's on there. So this is what it looks like. This is what it's going to be. So the digital identity is the body of the legs of the spider. So essentially, the digital ID is the main piece. It's the centerpiece. Everything else is connected to it. So you got your digital ID, which will be your entities, devices, people and things. So even your devices like your smartphones and stuff, your social media, you're going to need digital ID to be able to access them. If I want to continue doing YouTube and making videos for you guys about what's happening, by 2029 I will need a digital ID in order to do so. Which means essentially if I do not comply, I won't be able to access anything. So social media, devices, entities, people, everything's all going to need the digital ID to run. So we have at the top healthcare. Your healthcare services will be connected. So you will not be able to get any treatment from doctors. You will not be able to have any hospital treatment. Okay? You won't be able to have any treatment concerning your health unless you have proof of identity with a digital ID. If you need an operation or you have a heart attack and you need treatment, or you end up with cancer or something's wrong with you and you need a visit to the doctors and you need healthcare, you will be required to give them digital ID. Otherwise, you will not be able to have healthcare. So healthcare is going to be a part of it. That's number one. The next one. This is the one that gets me because this is biblical prophecy. This is Revelation 13, 16 through to 18. Financial services. So the financial services is going to be everything to do with your buying and selling. It's going to be your banking system. Now, I can speak on this because I have just got mobile banking myself. My banking is online now. They keep badgering you when you go into the banks if you've got online mobile banking. I got online mobile banking and now I can send and do transactions just from a click of a button on my phone within seconds without the need of a bank or cash. That's concerning to me because we are told by the technocrats, the billionaires, that phones are going to be done away with by 2030 and onwards. So if your digital ID and your online banking is all on the phone and your digital currency, eventually there'll be digital money on your phone. If all those things are on your phone online, but they get rid of the phones, my question to you is how will you survive and how will you be a part of the system? Well, then that's when they implement the mark of the beast on the world, which will be microchips in the hand or the forehead, brain-computer interface. They've already told us at the World Economic Forum, the governments, the leaders, they've all told us what they're going to do with brain-computer interface and artificial intelligence is to hook humans up with machine by implantable technologies. So your financial services, your banking, you will not be able to buy or sell, you will not be able to transact, you will not be able to use your money or your banking system unless you have a digital ID. And eventually you will not be able to do any buying and selling or transactions unless you have the mark. That's the concerning part. Third, just like the second, food and sustainability. So you are going to be required to have a digital identity in order to buy food or have food or sell food. It's going to be all part of the new system, tracking and monitoring every transaction, every purchase. They will want to know your intake on food and how much on what you're buying. They want to do away with meat, so you can't eat meat anymore, or you're only allowed a certain amount. This is all part of the carbon footprint social credit score system, where they're trying to reduce your carbon footprint. They're trying to reduce how much you consume and what you consume. So they will control every aspect of your life, including what food you will eat and how much of it. That's another one, food and sustainability. So far we've had healthcare, financial services and food and sustainability. 3 major roles in our lives that we need to survive. You will need a digital identity to be able to do those. Travel and mobility. This is the 4th one, another scary aspect of this. They will restrict your movement, where you go and how often. So things like holidays, if you want to board a plane and go abroad and go on holiday, you will only be allowed, and this is not just me saying it, they have reported on this, you will only be allowed a set amount of holidays per year. I think it was 2 or 3 per person in a year. You will only be allowed to go a certain amount of times on holiday, okay? It's all part of your carbon footprint and emissions. It's part of this global warming agenda, this Great Reset 2030 agenda, 2030. They also say you will own nothing and you will be happy, because you won't own anything. They will own everything and you will have to comply to them to participate in their new system. So travel and mobility, that's a big one. They will restrict your movement, where you go and how often. This will also tie into 15-minute cities. So everything that you need, all goods and services, will be in a 15-minute radius from where you are. And you may not be allowed to actually leave the zone. 15-minute cities are essentially modern day concentration camps, if you would like. Or, yeah, something like that, some kind of prison, digitally. So 15-minute cities also a part of travel and mobility. You will only be allowed within the 15-minute radius. This is the future that they are building for us. Okay. Next, we have humanitarian response. Humanitarian response. We see things like humanitarian aid and things. We've seen this with the war in Israel and Gaza. Humanitarian aid, where they bring in food for people that need it greatly, where there's starvation, famine, after wars, or global warming, as they say, So humanitarian response will also be a part of this. How that will work, I'm not sure, but it's on there. E-commerce, that's all online services, your e-commerce and everything. So running online businesses and stuff like that. You will also need an identity, digital ID, to do things like that as well, like run online businesses, do all these kinds of things. That's a part of it. Social platforms, this is a big one for me, and I know it's going to be a big one for all of you, because social platforms, that's all your social media apps. Could be YouTube, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, all the things we use, TikTok. Everything is going to be required to have a login of a digital identity. People are already scanning their faces, their iris scan and their fingerprints to access these social media platforms, or even access their smartphones. So that's going to also be another thing. If you do not want to comply with the digital ID, kiss goodbye to all internet access of social media, because you will need a digital ID to log into all of your accounts. So if I want to continue doing YouTube videos for you guys, but I don't want to comply with the digital ID, they will force me to have a digital ID to be able to log on to my YouTube. That's how far of the control and power, that's how far it's going to go. It's going to go that far where you can't log into your own social media account on your phone without a digital ID. Okay, so next we have e-government. So e-government, this is for citizens and access and use of services, taxes and collect benefits. This is a huge one. So basically, if you want to receive benefits or you want to do your taxes through your online businesses, if you work for yourself or things like that, you will also be required to have a digital ID. That's a big one, because for the people that are on welfare, people that are on benefits, if you want to carry on receiving your state funded money, if you want to carry on receiving your benefits, you will be required also to have a digital ID to receive them. I know this because there's been times where I myself have been on benefits to help me plot along when I'm out of work, and they require you at the centre, the workplace centre, the work search centre. They require all of your details and your information. They require your identity, your date of birth, where you were born, even down to your first pet name as a security question. So if you want to continue receiving your benefits, they will make it where you must provide a digital ID to carry on receiving them. Telecommunications, that's another one. So that's for users that use devices for services and networks. So this could be, I don't know, getting a new internet, getting a new broadband, getting a new internet, even down to just using your smartphones, your internet services, things like that. Everything is going to be required that you have a digital ID, otherwise you will be completely logged out and you will not even be able to use the internet. So this is a big thing. And also I want to add with telecommunications, this will also go into the new thing that's coming, which is going to be artificial intelligence and merging man with machine. So through AI, brain-computer interface, implantable technologies in the human body, as we move into this new intelligent age that they keep talking about at the World Economic Forum, this is also going to be a part of it. Everything you see on here, including your digital identity, I believe will be put on a chip that will go in either the brain or in the hand. That at that point, people are being implanted with the mark of the beast, I believe. Many people are already receiving these technologies in the brain and the hand, but their banking systems, health system, all this you see here is not connected and put on those interfaces yet inside the body. When they are, it's going to be the mark of the beast being switched on. So they're already being implanted, I believe, with the technology, but everything's not connected on it yet. The moment it is, it will be switched on and the mark of the beast will already be on them. Their banking system, their buying and selling, absolutely everything will be done through the chips. That's what I believe, okay? And then obviously, lastly, we have smart cities, which we touched on not long ago. Smart cities will be that ties in with your travel and mobility. So your smart cities, you will have a certain radius, a certain distance where you're allowed to travel, and how often a day they will decide. 15-minute cities are pretty much smart cities. Everything will be digitalized. Every transaction, every going about, everything will be digital. And what will happen is the 15-minute city, you will have your food services, your health services, your financial services, absolutely everything will be in 15 minutes walking distance from where you are. And that will be your zone. Or if you like, a modern day concentration camp. Welcome to the New World Order. I thought I would share this with you. As you can see, the digital identity card hooked up to absolutely every aspect of your life. This is going to control every aspect of your life. Every single part of your existence is going to be controlled through the digital ID, which is why we say now, 4 years before it's introduced, resist the digital ID, because this is going to be the centerpiece, the platform, the foundation laid for the mark of the beast of Revelation 13, 16, 17. Now, I just want to add to that as well. You can see how they're going to control every aspect of our life. This is the beast system. This is the mark of the beast being set up. You're not going to be able to do anything without the mark inside the right hand or inside the forehead. It's going to be chips, guys. And all of this information I've just shown you is going to be on chips. So, the plan that I believe is everything that I just shown you, every aspect of your life needs to be put on your smart device, on your phone. But we've been told by the technocrats they're getting rid of the phones at 2030 and beyond. In fact, they have said they're going to implant the phones inside their bodies. CEO of Nokia, Pekka Lundmark, said it himself that by 2030 the smartphone will be implanted in the body.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains, and I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants.
So they're going to get everything digital. It's going to be on your phone, just like my banking now is, my finances now is. It's all going to be on the phone, but they're getting rid of the phones and implant them in the bodies through chips. That's the mark of the beast. I refuse to listen to anybody that tells me it isn't. That is the mark of the beast. If that's being implanted in the head and the hand, connected to financial services, that's the controlling of buying and selling, Revelation 13. Inside the hand and the head, that's the mark. You know, it's obvious. It's so obvious. And I just want to add one more thing. They are also forcing this on children. So here's an article and it reads, government to consult on digital IDs for 13-year-olds. So this isn't just going to be for adults. They're forcing it on children as well. So this was a recent article. The date was the 10th of October, year 2025. The government will consult on whether children aged between 13 and 16 years old should be included in rollout of planned digital IDs. And they will do this under a false deception. What they will tell you is it's to protect children online. It's to protect children online. You could protect children online by not letting children online at all. A 13-year-old shouldn't have access to social media anyway. A 13-year-old child should not have access to any of these things anyway. So if you want to protect the children, stop them doing this. Also, it will be more healthy and beneficial for them not to be staring at the screen 12 hours a day. Okay? All they do is stare at screens. Right? They do not want to protect the children. What they want to do is enforce the beast system on them as well. A digital ID on them as well. Here's another article. And this one it sounds just like the beast system, just like Revelation 13 in the Holy Bible. Okay? Digital ID cards could be rolled out to access your own money, says Keir Starmer in extraordinary admission. So now they're saying, if you want to access your own money, your own finances, you must have a digital ID. And the last step will be, if you do not have the mark inside the hand and the head, you will not be able to access your own money. You will not be able to buy or sell. Revelation 13, 16, 17. The beast system is here, guys. It's here. Now I just quickly want you to watch this video. The beast system's here, guys. It's here. Agenda 2030, you will own nothing and be happy. And if you do not comply or play ball with them, you're going to be kicked out of their new system. You're going to have to fend for yourself. Without their food. They control all the supermarkets, the grocery stores if you're American. They control all of our food supply. They're buying up all the farmland. They're blocking the sun by spraying the sky so farmers can't grow their own crops. They're controlling the food supply. Once you control the food supply, you control the people. Okay? You're not going to buy or sell unless you have the implantable chip in the hand or the head. Unless you take that mark of the beast. They are setting it up. I wouldn't even say they're laying the groundwork. I would say the groundwork's already laid. They're now building on it. The mark's here, guys. Watch this.
Last week on Outsiders, I mentioned the threat posed to your freedom, and more importantly, the terrifying threat posed to your children's and your grandchildren's future freedoms by a possible government-imposed digital ID. Here's digital ID opponent Whitney Webb warning that the WEF, the World Economic Forum, are desperate for public-private partnerships linked to digital IDs.
Essentially, what this public-private partnership that the WEF is pushing for is for every person's access to the internet to be tied to a digital ID or a government-issued ID, but presumably a digital ID, just because of where government-issued ID programs are all going, essentially around the world.
Now, many skeptics warn that a digital ID is the end of democracy as we know it and an irreversible step into a dystopian future of firstly no cash, just a digital currency controlled by governments, potentially leading to a Chinese-style social credit system where government has the ability to control and restrict every single aspect of your lives, from where you go, how you travel, your health care, what you eat, control over your spending habits, a veto over your job prospects, and so on. Here's digital ID and digital currency skeptic and former Wall Street investment banker, by the way, so she knows of what she speaks, Catherine Austin Fitz.
Programmable money doesn't click in and work well unless you've got everybody on the grid. You need to be able to track them. You need to be able to watch their behavior. You need to be able to influence their behavior. And then you've got complete control. And that is not just wearables. That is not just an internet of bodies. That is a coup d'etat. That is the end of human liberty in the West.
On your screen is the World Economic Forum's graph on how a digital ID is central to controlling every part of an individual's life. Financial services, food and sustainability, travel and mobility, e-commerce, social media and telecommunications, it's all there. And of course, every aspect of your healthcare. And what would that look like? Here's CEO of Pfizer speaking not long ago at the World Economic Forum, the WEF, for example, boasting about the latest pharmaceutical digital technology.
Basically biological chip that it is in the tablet. And once you take the tablet, and dissolves into your stomach, sends a signal that you took the tablet.
Are they kidding? Digital ID schemes potentially give absolute powers of surveillance and control over every aspect of your life.
Sure does. Sure does. And might I just quickly add, the graph that I shown you at the beginning is the same kind of graph that he showed you, which was published by the World Economic Forum. Now, I've just shown you as well two speakers at the World Economic Forum. Nokia CEO of the phone make Nokia, Pekka Lumark, said they're going to implant the phones in their body. Klaus Schwab, the founder of the World Economic Forum that published that chart with everything on it around the digital ID, said that you all will have brain implants in the brain. Right hand and forehead, mark of the beast. Everything connected on a chip in your head or hand. Fulfillment of Revelation 13, 16, 18. I'll play it again, just in case it doesn't register for some of their minds.
I was talking about 6G earlier, which is around 2030. I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual, kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. Can you imagine that in 10 years when we are sitting here, we have an implant in our brains? And I can immediately feel, because you all will have implants.
So there you have it. You all will have implants in the brain. Or the other option for those who are squeamish about that, you can have a little one the tiny size of a grain of rice, just implanted there. Just there, where your little pulse is, just in there. You can have one in there, or you can have one in there. Right hand forehead, mark of the beast. Wake up. I say it out of love and I say it out of passion for what I know in the Bible. Wake up. World, wake up. You got 4 years till they force this digital ID on you, and then all your freedom's gone. Everything. Even your financial services, whether you're having benefits or not, whether you're working or not, they will control every aspect of your life, including the food supply. They can force you to worship a new god, AI, and if you don't, they will cut you off. They will log you out of the system. You're giving them too much power, world. Too much control. But we know this is going to happen regardless of what I say. Because you cannot stop biblical prophecy from being fulfilled. No matter how much you try and push back, no matter how much you try and prolong it, biblical prophecy must be fulfilled. The truth is unfolding before our very eyes. Jesus Christ of Nazareth is returning soon. How soon? I would say he's at the door. I would say now to you all, look up. Your redemption's drawing near. I really would. I think Agenda 2030 and beyond, we're going to be in the beast system. So if the pre-trib rapture believers are correct and we're going in a pre-trib, I personally don't believe it. But I hope you're right. And if you are right, that must be happening very soon. That's all I can say on the matter. If you're right, I think we're right there at the beast system. So close. We could be about 4 years away. I'm not setting times or dates, but I'm just... Agenda 2030 is a big part of it. So, I don't know. Leading up to that, or how far after that, 2031, 2, 3, I don't know. But Jesus is coming. So, I personally, what I would do is, yes, you should all live in peace. We should comfort one another with these words about us being changed in a moment, in the twinkle of an eye, being caught up. Yeah, we should comfort one another, but I would prepare as well. I would prepare as well, just in case. Okay? You should prepare anyway, because anything could happen. Natural disasters, break out of random wars. Could be at war with Russia in 2 years. Who knows what happens? We should be preparing. We should all be preppers as well. You know, get long shelf life food, water, shelter, tents, equipment, and just have every person, okay, in each household should have a bug out bag. You should have a bag full of survival stuff, so that if something does happen in an emergency, you can just put the bag on your back and go. You know, so even though you're watching for a pre-trib rapture, my advice to you would be, there's no harm in having a bug out bag full of supplies as well. Just do both. But yeah, the beast system's here. I want to show you this verse now. Revelation 13:16 through to 18. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Guys, we've just heard them say they're going to implant the phones in their body. We've just heard them say that everyone's going to have brain implants. I've shown you articles where they're getting rid of the phones. They're doing away with them. Everything's being put on the phone. Your digital ID, your mobile banking, digital banking. You're going to have digital central bank, digital currencies on your phone. Okay? Everything's going to be on the phone, digitally, but they're getting rid of the phones. So where's all the information of you going? Don't forget what I said. Okay? I'm going to finish off with the gospel. Jesus died for our sins. The gospel of your salvation can be found written in 1 Corinthians 15:3-4. For I delivered unto you first of all that which I also received, how that Christ died for our sins according to the Scriptures, and that he was buried, and that he rose again the third day according to the Scriptures. Believe in Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, and you shall be saved. His blood didn't just pay for some sins, or a few sins, or the majority of sins. Jesus' blood shed on the cross of Calvary paid for all sins for every person. Every person. Past, present and future. Believe in the gospel of Christ's death, burial and resurrection written in 1 Corinthians 15:3-4 and you shall be saved. Remember, we are saved by grace through faith. It's not of ourselves. It's a gift from God, freely given, not of works, lest any man should boast. There'll be no boasting in the kingdom of heaven. Grace, faith. Believe in what Christ did for you, and his righteousness will be imputed to you. Until the next one, wherever you are in the world, America, UK, wherever you are from, I hope you have a blessed day, whatever you're doing. Enjoy your day, and until the next one, peace. God bless.